Hey guys, got an 8870 New Holland here that we're gonna have to roll it in two. It's leaking. There's a weep hole in the bottom of the case there. As you can see, the oil all over the ground just running out of there. It's really leaking bad. Something happened on the input side of that transmission. Anyway, we got to roll this thing in two and see what happened there. So I got a 3660 I want to video too, Massey Ferguson. Those are kind of those tractors kind of held a special place in my heart because I grew up on one of those as a kid. Ran the living crap out of one of those for years. Good tractors, really good tractors. The only problem with them is that electronic hitch and stuff like that. If it goes bad, they're really hard to get parts for. Just near to impossible. If you got hitch problems with one of those, that electronic hitch, it's near impossible. I was trying to think of a way a guy could probably switch that thing and make it manually operated somehow. I got another customer with one of those tractors that the hitch quit working and they kind of parked it because that's what they were using it for. Was they were running a I'm trying to remember, they were running some kind of PTO setup with the hitch in conjunction with the hitch. But anyway, so I'm gonna start on this one first and then kind of bounce back. That one there, the PTO is the problem on that one. This one here, we got to get these, man, these counterweights on these tractors are just absolutely enormous. I'm kind of thinking that I probably should have turned the tractor around and got my service truck over here. And yeah, because you don't just pick these up and throw these on the ground like a John Deere. These are heavy. What are they, 110 kilograms? So what is that, guys? 110. That'd be about a couple 100 pounds a piece, huh? Let's go, I don't know my kilograms very well. Let's go 110 kg to pounds. Yeah, they're 242 pounds a piece. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. What am I doing? That's one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, there's a little bit of weight on the front end of this thing. So, okay. $4,000 pounds. Gee, probably. I gotta take these off. Forgot. Yeah, I gotta take these off right here. I forgot about that. I gotta get done from dawn. I gotta get that thing done. I just can't seem to do enough with it for everybody. Oh man, that's tight. Do something different on that one. Definitely getting some anti-seize on these. Everybody can. Oh, like it's hurting this place any, huh? Mess anyway. Now I wonder if it'll... Well, guys, we got the hood off and the stack off and the counterweights off. We got to get the starter out. Got the grounds off on the battery. Trying to remember what else here. Of course, throttle linkage going to the injection pump and the supply and return lines. Heater hose. That's one thing nice about these New Holland tractors. These old 8000 series like this, they had shut-off valves on the heater hoses. That was kind of nice. If they seated and worked. There's another one up here. You can still lose a little bit of coolant. What I usually do, I had some bolts or something I think I stuck in there in the hoses. So let me find, it's 5/8 heater hose, so about a 5/8 bolt. Stick in there in the hose once I get it off. And then we can go ahead and get the starter out of it. What is that, like 15, 16 millimeter or something like that? Yeah, these were pretty nice tractors to work on, really. Way better than this newer stuff is. And I'm gonna have to use a short socket for that. And 3/8 drive ratchet. Definitely were some pretty darn good tractors here. A lot of guys like these for tractor pulling. I know they were pretty popular for that. 3/8 up in there somewhere. And got some kind of cable here. I don't know what that's all about, but it's busted off. Well, that's not good. My 3/8 socket's not in there. Hang on, guys. Well, I thought I'd be back real shortly with you, but my 3/8 socket's not in my set for some reason. There needs us some 12-point bolts in. Holy cow. What a deal trying to get those loose. Supposed to be a nut on this one. It's got a stud on it. And somebody didn't put it back on there. I thought there was supposed to be something there. Now we're hitting this fuel filter. I think it's gonna have to come off to get the starter out. I'm about to shut the fuel off. I'll get lucky on that one for once in my life. Josie, I turned the air conditioner on in there for you in the office. You're out here laying out here in the heat. Crazy dog. Oh, you heavy son of a gun. Okay. Yeah, you gotta get this bolt out right here. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. There's a bolt somewhere. You gotta pull out. Not this one. I know you gotta get these two out. There's somewhere, I can't remember. You split the frame. If I remember, I'm trying to remember if that one is going clear through. I'll have to look. I know the main frame here, there's two bolts here. See this bolt right here? And I think there's something down in here, but I'll have to see. There's two more down there. Same thing on the other side. They tell you to pull that fuel tank, but I don't remember pulling that before though. We're gonna have to get all this crap out of here so we can even find the bolts. Okay, but let's get the heater hoses off of there. Oh, my daughter and my wife will be back today. They've been in Kalispell, Montana for almost a week, I guess. They left Wednesday, they're getting back today, and my daughter does a lot of national shows for showing sheep and goats and all kinds of stuff. She won Grand Champion Showmanship, so she did all right. I used to get kind of mad about that, but then I see some of these other kids and the stuff that they're doing, I go, well, my daughter's not, we're not doing too bad. If that's all she's into, then that's all right. I was watching a bunch of YouTube. I took Sunday off, and I was just, hands were hurting me so bad Sunday and everything. Anyway, enough of my crybabying. Anyways, I took a day to rest my body, and I was just thumbing through YouTube videos, watching some of that stuff, and I got on this Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, or is it Philadelphia? Somewhere in Pennsylvania. I think it was Philadelphia. And these people that were on that fentanyl, what's the new one now? My daughter knew what it was. I was telling her about it on the phone when I was calling the girls every day, checking up on them, see how they was doing. And anyway, daughter says, "That's xylazine, Dad. That's a horse tranquilizer." Because, you know, she knows all about that stuff, being she's trying to be a vet. And that stuff was rotting their skin. It was basically eating their flesh away. I mean, and I just started, being, you know, that's what I picked to choose to watch. All of a sudden I was getting one channel after another about American cities all over the country. And I'm telling you what, you don't realize, people. You start watching, go watch those videos. There's this one guy, his name's Hicks. He rides around in LA on one of them Suron electric bikes. And I can't tell you. You look at that Kensington, PA, look at Chicago. There's a guy, another guy I was watching, Charlie Bro 13 or something like that. And there's another guy, Spania. He goes around hoods all over the world, and he went into some hoods in America, and I'm sorry to tell you, folks, the country's gone. It's gone. And Colonel McGregor, if you guys know who Colonel McGregor was, Colonel McGregor said the same thing. It needs to collapse. The whole thing we need to start over, folks. We're gonna go through a lot of pain to do it. But if you start looking at these major cities all over this country, it's gone. Okay, there's 2 lines in here you gotta take off. These 2 steering lines right here. 7/8, and maybe is it 1 inch or 15/16? 15/16. Holy shit. Okay. Alright, you want to play games, do you? Mess with the wrong hombre. I don't sit there and mess with those things and struggle, and then they finally break loose and I break my hand when it comes loose or something. Flat-faced O-ring, plug in a cap for these. Your way of it. There we go. Okay, I gotta find some caps and plugs. I think there's a couple bolts, I think, up here on top. Should be one on each side, but I gotta get a couple plugs and caps. Okay, I know. Now these supply line, I got loose there, but you gotta almost take it completely out of there and then return them. How am I gonna go about the return line? It's got a bracket holding it down in the frame there. It's gonna, they're not too bad. I said these were easy to work on, but there are a few things on these that are kind of a pain. This whole setup with the supply and return lines for the fuel isn't too great. They did, at least they did put shutoffs on the tank though. That's a very good thing. But all right, is there somewhere where this thing will stay or stick or do something here? There's just nowhere to go with it. I might have to go get one of my headlamps or something. somewhere it'll maybe keep from rolling over. Okay, I shut that fuel off. Apparently it looks like that valve we'll see what happens here. That valve's leaking a little bit. Nice. Oh, I would probably say out of all the things of this occupation that I just can't stand, and that's the light situation. And the older I get, the less I like it. Always being dark, you know. And then you get older and you can't see nothing. Eyesight gets worse. Okay, so is this valve seating? It appears it is. How about the... No, that ain't it. They're always full of fuel too. They're never empty. I don't see these tractors with this kind of problem very often, to be honest with you. Pretty good tractors. Usually pretty bulletproof. They already pulled the, looks like the full drive, front drive line. It's not in it. If you were going to, decided you were going to try to do this occupation and you didn't like getting dirty, then you need to go find something else to do. This is not for you. Can't get on it. Little bracket up here. I can't get on it. Of course, it's not. I just grabbed a wrench that I had laying on the bumper. I gotta go find a different wrench or pull this pillow block bearing that holds this drive line. Pull the drive line clear out of it or something. I don't know. I'm slowly trying to pull it apart. I'm seeing some things that are not so good. I'm seeing a bunch of broken bolts, and I'm seeing the headset gear stayed there. That's not right. On the transmission, that should not come out with it. Make sure that I'm clear on everything. I'm pulling on it with that come along. I just don't want to tear anything up. I think, let's look at that again. Make sure that that wiring harness is coming with it. Had the water hose out because I had to heat a bolt to get it loose, and this thing's pretty greasy and I was afraid I was going to catch it on fire. Okay, so we got to get, okay, so that should come with that. Or should I just go ahead and just get it out of my way? I think let's get it out of the way. Let's see. I've never seen one of these do this before. Come apart like that. Basically, the bearing retainer that holds that gear in, all the bolts have sheared off and come out of it. Okay, I'm gonna pull on it some more. See how we fare here. I'll put you guys here. You guys can watch it come apart. Look at stuff first before we get too carried away. It's coming. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good there, what I'm seeing. Look at all that. No wonder the oil was pouring out of it. That's the gear itself doesn't look damaged, but that's wild, man. That is really wild. That's wild. Okay. What are we gonna do with this mess here, you know? I guess, because it's bracketed to that main harness. If it wasn't for the battery cables, can I just pop the battery cables off the thing and let it all come with the engine? Would that work? The only problem is this ground's running back here somewhere. There's this cable, I mean, this is probably the cab feed. So let's maybe take the cab feed off of it. And then I think we'll be free and clear. Never seen one do this before. I've been in quite a few of these Funk 18-speed power shifts. It's almost like I wonder if somebody was into it and didn't Loctite the bolts or something. You know, it makes you wonder why it would do that. Okay. All right, let's keep pulling on it. Come along, pull it in two. Gotta get enough room so we can get in there. Work on it. Air hose, it's about ready to get run over. Then I won't be able to get out from underneath there again. I used to do this by hand and just push and shove on them, but I don't do that anymore. Do we have enough room to do anything? Not really. Not with that wonderful fuel tank and all that stuff in the way. Yeah, this all needs to come off of here. Yeah, all the bolts came loose out of that retainer, and then my problem, I think, is made the holes are screwed up. But I gotta keep going, I guess. Come on apart with it. I gotta get more room in there than that. Okay, let's see how we're looking now. There, a guy might be able to do something there. Got to get some jack stands, get underneath the front end of this thing. But let's take a look in here and see what our gear looks like. Or not our gear, but our bolt holes. Yeah, there's no threads left at all. Why would it do that? And pull all of the threads out of that, and it broke that one off. Okay. Thread inserts or helicoils or something is what's going to have to be done with that. Did we like lose a bearing and that's what caused all this to happen? I don't know. Okay, so here's this here. That bearing looks fine. That seal does it. Yeah, that bearing looks just fine there. That bearing looks just fine. So why did this do this? What a mess, huh? They must have just come loose. They must have come loose. We got a lot of helicoiling and stuff like that to do there to make that right again. This is the shims for that. This is the shims for that bearing retainer. I'm gonna have to find some thread certs or something to fix this. Bearing races look good. I just need a seal, and we just got to get this bolted back together. Well, that's very interesting. But I was gonna put a rear main seal in this. And these aren't really a clutch, guys. There is no clutch on these tractors. There's different terminology for these. I think like AGCO calls them a torque divider. And basically, it's just a spring-loaded disc with no linkage or nothing going to it. Because on these, basically, you really don't... What you call the clutch pedal is really an inching pedal. And when you push that clutch pedal in, all you're really doing is taking the oil away from the input side of the transmission, the clutch packs. Okay, for like forward or reverse, or if it's got an input clutch, and more than likely it's got a forward and reverse. And you're just taking the oil away, because you really don't even have to use that pedal to change them in gear. And the whole idea behind that is if when you're not, maybe say you're shuttling and you got a loader on or whatever, or even if you don't have a loader on, you can just put that in forward. And what that does, this has a certain amount of slip engineered into this assembly. And this thing's junk. Look at that. Yeah, it's junk. Anyway, but it has a certain amount of slip to where if, say you got a load on, it lets this slip so it doesn't break the input shaft on the transmission or tear something up in the transmission. So anyway, I'm gonna see if I can find some... I'm gonna eat some lunch here right quick. I'm kind of wondering... Looks like most of them came out of the holes, but we're gonna have to drill them holes out and put some... yeah. It just... Yeah, they just came loose and it pulled the threads out of it. This one's still got a few threads on it here. That one still does. There's a few that still have a little bit of threads on them, but I don't trust them at all. So I think the proper thing to do is just redo them completely. So, anyways, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start working on that.